Okay, yep, that was 10 minutes. My camera's been giving me a few problems, but I've been managing. Okay, so there is a duality in the space particle. We're talking about black holes, dualistic corpuscular time-set spaces, particle reunitizing reality makers, and that's what a black hole is. Doesn't mean you could live in some of them, but this one you can. So there's a little diagram. Sorry. Okay. Little diagram of a gravity well, black hole. Point of singularity is actually the whole well of the singularity. The centripetal force of the black hole crushes the particles, but the base particle approaches infinite spin and an equilibrium is established. This sets a new space-time, a new time-space. The above diagram shows what it looks like. One particle, when in fact it is all particles. That one little dot at the end is everything, but they all think they're alone. And that's the way that fourth dimensional thing works. When in fact it's all particles as if they are stacked on top of each other, each keeping its own uniqueness, its own, because of indivisibility, each particle is in the center of space, or divisibility. Anyway, tomato, tomato. General relativity strikes again inside the black hole's point of view. Everything, the black hole's point of view is everything. The particle in space is moving or thinks it's moving around the center of an attractor of the singularity. It isn't. But space is overlapped and it creates the white hole of our existence. Each frame of reference overlap creates our reality, and still no violation. All the particles are in an indivisible space are in the center of their own existence. Now, the particle, the special particle, the space particle, the whole thing is in the center of the black hole, and it's one particle. But also, because of the way the singularity works, it cuts just a tiny little fraction from the space particle where there's no particle. There's a potential particle, but not a particle. That potential particle is, I believe it to be about the size of a 1 Planck length. At least that's what I'm going to choose, because that value is made for a reason. You can study it. You can look at it. Very, very amazing values that we've got out of data from many years ago. And the Planck length and Planck time are all intimately connected to this. So, let's see where I'm going next here. Because of indivisibility, each particle is in the center of space. All particles are held by the singularity, and all space that was taken by the black hole bulges out into a reality and is filled with the base energies that created our space we call the Big Bang. We never left the black hole that created our existence. Each particle that is held by the singularity is also flowing freely in the center of its own space that fills our reality with particles, all with the same story. Lack of better words, the dimensionless particles travel perpendicular to space, and the potential mass particles are still in the center of their own frame of reference. Let's see. I said quantum field theory shows this also. I must have been watching something. Horizontal space, vertical is virtual particle orbits in superposition, coinciding. If they collide in the right condition, a particle appears to form. So you've got not a very good drawing, but if you see here, this particle goes this way, another particle goes this way, and when you have a coincidence, the frames overlap. That's where you get a permanent, persistent particle if they keep overlapping. and if they do, then they're going to probably overlap for a very, very long time. Various types of particles exist. Waves put waves partially in phase, totally out of phase, and in sync. A permanent particle forms. We have force particles, which equal bosons, and matter particles, which equal fermions. Gravity is in the center of the black hole. Every particle is being held by it. Since the space that is in the black hole is a single particle, all space is around every particle in the center of the black hole, in the center of that space. But the interesting thing about that is, since space, that's what I meant by space kind of being indivisible, is that every physical particle shares the black hole space, but only, and has it to itself. So, or maybe you could say it's divisible, but in other words, from its own point of view, it has it, and all by itself it has it. Pretty interesting. And then it gains degrees of freedom within that space. So it doesn't matter that this particle goes that way or that one goes that way, or whatever directions they're going. They can move independently within this space because of relativity. Relativity from the event horizon, that is the line of separation between a different dualistic corpuscular time shared space. So if you go up to a black hole out in space, that black hole is going to have a different dualistic corpuscular time set, particle reunitizing time setting, and so all particles will be reunitized. So because of the collapse of the black hole, will have a different mass, and then that black hole will create a different time shared space. It'll have a superposition, and it'll have space-time. And that's just talking about the basic there's a couple more, of course there's going to be other ideas and stuff like that too, but this is kind of, if you follow along my logic and you're like going, wow, I didn't, hopefully you're having a V8 moment, Let's see, since the space particle that is in a black hole is a single particle, all space is around every particle in the center of the black hole, that space, but each particle is alone from within its own frame of reference. Space has no edge, no beginning, no ending, and no size. With no reference, there's no size. If you have a reference, then you have a comparison. But even if you have the comparison, if it's only a single comparison, then you don't know where the edge of the particle is, because it just keeps wrapping around inside the black hole. You can't find the wall. It's impossible. The reunitization occurs, and this reunitization has to do with inflation, because when all that space dumps into the black hole, that's when inflation occurs. When the singularity reunitizes space-time, instead of being crushed to nothing, particles, centripetal force create at some point an equilibrium, requantification, requantizing. I just made up some funny words there, kind of. Light, and thus skipping a lot, the white hole is reality pushing out space, and then particles. If a string occurs, it is in the center of the black hole, and is also, which the string is actually a trajectory, which it's not a string, it's a particle that has a trajectory, so it can appear like a string because it'll be like a ring. It's very similar to like magnetism, when you put the little pieces of metal down, you see these little trajectories that form, and those are because that magnetic field is out of phase with our space-time. That's why you don't see the particles, and that's the way it is. That's as far as I know, that's as in phase as it gets. in the air, in the air when you can't see anything there. And I'm not saying you could see it because you can't see air either. But air's there and you can feel air, but you can't really feel that magnetism. It goes right through you. If a string occurs, a string occurs, it is in the center of the black hole. It is also everywhere in the universe, and it also forms its own frame of reference alone. But this string is an orbital going around a singularity. Yeah, exactly. Didn't know if I was going to say that. Okay, now we're on page 64. In the center, Yep, okay, so we'll stop there. We're going to start on 64 next.